Previously on Coruscant Nights. So the group of Z-95s leave the Grand Orbital Observatory. The planet Coruscant glows below the ships as they streak through space, setting their coordinates to the outer rim. And there's a chime on Ace's dashboard.
This is Commander Ace. Who am I? Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to?
Commander Ace, this is CT-42173. We've got a change of orders for you. You're headed to Mimban. There's a Jedi there known as Lee Vol. We need you to execute Order 66. Sending over all relevant information to your ship's computers.
Yeah, so Lee's made his way to Mimban to explore for these artifacts that could bring some balance to the Force. Lee is very conscientious of balance, and he's focused on peace more than anything. He's someone who loved the fact that as a Jedi, he was considered a peacekeeper.
Three little words with the power to break the galaxy. The rain comes down and soaks Ace's parachute as he begins to unclip himself from his seat. The parachute slowly descends on top of him and pushes it aside as he gets out. What does he do once he reaches the ground?
I think as soon as Ace reaches the ground, I think he's a little grumpy as he sees his Z95. I think he's probably had this Z95 for 2 of the last 6 tours. It sails very far across the skyline, and there's a very distant sound of an explosion. But the rain and darkness are almost even too dense for him to see the light from it. But he's a little grumpy. He pulls a combat vibro knife from his boot and slices the cords on his parachute before it even completely hits the ground, and just keeps on walking in deep mud. Welcome to Mimban. Beautiful, they told me. Great place to visit. Yeah. Lovely.
He landed in the center of a group of mangrove trees. The mud is deep, and I think as he walks, there's a lot of suction. It's hard to get his feet out. And as he continues to walk, it becomes even more difficult to get his feet out of this mud. And at some point, he just cannot get his feet out of the mud. And he slowly begins to sink.
Ah, jeez, for crying out loud. I'm not losing another boot to mud. Come on, move your legs.
Survival check?
Let's see. What's my difficulty?
Let's see. Not good at survival?
No.
We'll just make it hard.
Okay, maybe I'll get lucky. Can I free for a boost, or do I have a talent?
I don't know. Do you have a talent?
No, I do not.
You got a lot of light side points.
I feel like this is a game where we're just flipping back and forth, and we're never going to flip all of these lights. So I'm just going to flip one. I still think I'm probably going to lose, but maybe I won't.
Oh, 3 failures.
Wow.
That's not good.
That was impressively bad. But as I've learned from playing this game, 3 failures don't really stack, so I just failed.
Yeah, you just failed. So what happens when Ace begins to sink in some quicksand?
What did you call these trees?
Mangrove. They're the ones with the lots of finger roots.
So Ace struggles and can't lift either of his feet out of this mud. Seems like he's sinking, or at least stuck. He looks around in the rainy darkness and sees the hanging branches of the mangrove trees above. He's going to grab one of the trees to at least keep himself from sinking deeper into this mud, but he's stuck.
I was going to ask if I could flip to arrive very soon to this to help.
Sure. I think Ace is going to be at least waist deep by the time you come, though.
Okay. Do I have to flip to arrive, or?
I guess you don't.
Okay. So Lee arrives and sees Ace struggling in the mud, and kind of the familiarity of the life and the force around him has calmed some of that urgency, some of that panic that he had before, and is kind of a little bit amused with himself to see Ace again, and leans against one of the nearby mango trees and folds his arms to call out to Ace to let him know he's there, and says, "Aren't you a little short for a clone trooper?"
Who is that? I'm not short. I'm just waist deep in this muck. Is that...
Are you planning on pulling yourself out? Is it a spa day?
Who is that? Is that General Vol?
Aye, it is. It's been a while, Ace.
It's been too long, General. You might give me a little hand, or however you pick things up I need. Look, General Vol, I'm sinking to my death here. I need something.
Oh, Ace, don't be hasty. I'll help you out of there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I think Lee throws over a bit of rope across the mud.
Ace grabs it. Rope, eh? Thought you were gonna just float me across or something. This'll do. You won't hear me complaining.
You always take the practical approach, Ace. That's my motto. And he starts wheeling Ace in, hand over hand with the rope, until he's close enough to pull himself out with the mangrove roots.
Well, you and I can agree on the practical approach. Jeez. It's gonna take all day to dry this mud off. Well, not the first time.
The rain will help you out for sure.
Thank you, General.
What brings you here? There's something going on. I can't explain it, but lights, the force is dimming around me. Do you know anything about this? Is that why you're here?
I don't know anything about that, General. I had orders to find you here. It's a giant planet. What are the odds I would have found you so quickly? I mean, no, I haven't heard anything about lights or anything.
Orders to find me? Does the Republic have a mission, or?
The mission is top secret, apparently, even to me. The commanding officer of the mission was ordered to come to Mimban, find you, General Vol, and execute Order 66 or something. I mean, that was the order, General.
66? I haven't heard of the order.
Haven't been briefed.
Leave it to the Republic to leave it nebulous on what they want us to do.
Yes, as such, I've been equally nebulous with Nexus Squadron.
Oh, there's more of your squadron here.
7 of us total, General. The fighters are making rounds. Haven't communicated with them yet. What are your orders, General?
As you say that, the comms on your seat that is slowly sinking into the mud, you hear...
Orders, yep. Fly out of the weather. Yep.
Do I have a direct comm with Nexus Squadron?
Yeah, I was on that chair as I flip a dark side point.
Well, General, seems we're stuck on this lovely paradise they call Mimban. What is it that one does on a planet as such?
Well, seeing as you've lost your comm, and I don't have a long-range comm on me, just this short communicator, I imagine we should head back to the town I was in. Surely they have a way of communicating with your squadron, and we can connect up and figure out what our next steps are.
Sounds good, General. They're a smart bunch. They'll probably land and find us in town anyway. So, please, lead the way.
Yeah, optimism. I do like that about you, Ace. And Lee turns and starts to stroll back to the mining town.
The mining town that you know is named Mining Town 1 Besh.
1 Besh.
It doesn't take long to get back to town. At this point, I think Lee would know the ways around the muck right around town so that they don't run into any more quicksand. And Lee shows Ace to his hovel, to the shed, or are you going to go to someplace more populous?
I think we're going to head back to good old Stim Rollaton. So we're heading back to the hovel, but what the shop that's essentially attached to it.
Okay.
in hopes that Stem has a long-range communicator.
She runs a gear shop for surveyors who come in every once in a while because Mimban is known for its metals, which are in fact used in building starships. People come in through here every once in a while to seek out new mining claims. It's late in the evening. I think her shop is closed, but you knock on the back door and she answers it after a short while and says,
Lee, it's awfully late. What's got you up at such time? And who's your friend?
Oh, thanks for answering the door. We've had this unusual evening. This is my friend and commander of the Nexus Squadron, Ace, the clone. He's unfortunately made it here without his ship intact, but there are some other members of his squadron overhead, and we have lost a way to communicate with them and need to get him back. I was hoping I could impose upon you to loan us a long-range communication device.
I may have one in stock. Let me rummage around and see what I can find. I do know that they have a planet-wide communicator at the cantina. You know, Frenchy Boingo's Tiki Bar and Lounge. Let me go look.
I suppose we could head down that way, but they're supposed to be right overhead. If you have the more secure way of contacting them, that would be appreciated.
she goes into her shop. A short while later, Stamralatom comes back with a large comm. It is like a box with a handheld radio kind of thing. She sets up a little dish that starts spinning in circles and hands the speaker piece to you.
Much appreciated, Stem. Ace, you've got the encryption codes? And he hands the speaker part to Ace.
Yeah, I've got the codes here. Let me just type those in. Tip, tip, top, top. And, reading aloud to Nexus Squadron. Nexus Squadron. What's the town nearby here?
Mining Town 1 Bash.
Mining Town 1 Bash. And what's the place we're at called? Actually...
The store.
He would probably need, like, longitude...
Stem surveyor shop?
He'd probably need, like, longitude, latitude.
The coordinates are negative 10.325 by 32.72.
Nexus Squadron, do you read me? This is Commander Ace. Are you reading my coordinates? Landed in a nearby area. Watch the mud. I have found General Vol. Converge on my area for further briefing on our mission.
Hasty. Reading you, Commander.
Snakes.
Right, Hasty.
I'm in.
Roger, Snakes. Safe landings. Well, General Vol, they're in approach.
Excellent.
We've got a mission
Perhaps
here.
we can get to the bottom of this.
What is our mission, General Vol? We bringing you home?
Well, I can't say that I've heard of Order 66 before. I've got no briefing on it whatsoever. Perhaps you were sent to aid me in my mission. I'm seeking some artifacts here on the planet for the Jedi. We could make an excursion to find them, or we could make our way down to Frenchies and see if we can't get a signal off planet for clarification.
General, I've always deferred to your best judgments. You and the Jedi have better judgment often than we. I've always been good at leading them, telling them what to do, but you're usually the one that tells us what to do. My men will be here momentarily. We're happy to escort you on a mission to either Frenchies or to find these artifacts, but...
Well, why we wait? Why don't you and I make our way to Frenchies?
If
you sell yourself short, Ace. You've been reliable. Always been able to rely on you. Come on, we'll see if we can't contact someone off planet.
Thank you, General, but should we leave the team in waiting, in search for us?
Well, you've sent the coordinates. I'll tell you that I've been here for a while now, and Mining Town 1 Bash is, 10 buildings at the most. It's just down the way. There's a clearing at the south end of town, and they can land there. I'm sure once they search room by room, if we don't see them first, they'll find us.
Right, General. Awaiting your orders, and I'll follow you.
Follow me? That's the order, I suppose, clone. Now come along, Ace.
Right.
Thank you for the communicator, Stem. Very much appreciate the time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You two have a good night. Enjoy Frenchy Boingos. I hear it's ladies' night again. Not that there are any other ladies in town.
I'm picturing to have ladies' night just to get Stem to come to Frenchy Bongos, and she never does. Lee slides a couple of credits across the table to pay for the use of the communicator and heads out into the rain.
The town is as small as Lee described it. 10 to 12 buildings, and right at the center is the only one where anything is happening. It is basically a large shack. It looks like it may have been a warehouse when this town was founded. And now it is decorated with fading, colorful flags and a sign that says Frenchy Boingo's Tiki Bar and Lounge. There are a couple rowdy people out front. You spot somebody push somebody else in a big puddle of mud, and it looks like it's warm and dry on the inside. And the inside it is filled with local miners. And you see a few of the native Mimbanese huddled in corners glaring at the human miners. The place is dry, it's warm, it's a little loud, it's not too crowded. The bartender of the place is a Rhodian, who at this point Lee would know as Injima. He has bluish-green, scaly skin, big, round Rhodian eyes with the galaxies rotating in them, and his pointy ears, little suckers on the top of his head, and sucker fingers. He is just leaning on the bar as you get in there. This place is the local cantina. It is the place where town hall meetings, really most of the things that happen in town happen here.
Stay close, Ace. I'll say the locals haven't been very kind. No problems, but it's best if we don't make any trouble we don't have to. And Lee kind of tries to weave through the crowd up to Njima.
Yeah, he inclines his head as you come up. Hey, Lee.
Hey, Njima. I have a bit of a favor to ask. The fellow here, this is Ace. He's the commander of the Nexus Squadron. He's here for a mission to, I believe, retrieve me, but we've lost communication off-planet. Stim seemed to believe that you might have a planetary or interplanetary communicator. I was hoping I could purchase some time with your device.
He looks to Lee. He looks at Ace and sizes him up. He looks past Ace at the Mimbanese people who are back there who are staring at Ace. Yeah, I suppose I could arrange something like that. Brings somebody like you all the way out here, clone.
I'm on a mission to secrecy, if you have to know. Most aren't privy to know.
I mean, that doesn't tell me very much.
I'll tell you that the war has not reached this planet yet. You're very fortunate for it.
It hasn't? I've seen your face 1,000 times.
I think that actually makes Ace feel a little bit ashamed, despite his leadership. He kind of looks towards the floor, looks around the room, avoiding eye contact with this Rhodian. Njima, was it? Njima? All I can say is I hope that this war will come to a quick end. Your place here will suffer no more harm due to what they've started and what we've had to do here. But if you would help my friend, I'd greatly appreciate it.
He looks to Lee. HoloNet receivers in the back. 20 credits, 10 minutes.
A fair price, Njima. I appreciate it. And he slides the 20 credits over. Come on, Ace. Stay close.
Right.
Begins to head towards the back.
All right, so you head to the back. There's a small room where there's a computer terminal with the HoloNet receiver. It's probably the only one in town. This is the place you come if you need to get news of the galaxy or get a message to you or off-world. There's one seat in front of the computer, and it is a very small room.
All right, Ace. Do me a favor and watch the door. I'll see if I can't raise Coruscant.
Roger.
And Lee sits down and turns a few knobs and inputs some comm codes he knows for the Jedi Temple in particular, I think is who he's out to touch base with. This is General Vol broadcasting to the Jedi Command. Need clarification on mission orders and parameters. Please reply to this comm address.
I think all that he gets in return is a repeating message that says that he needs to report back, that all Jedi need to report back to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant.
Seems communication's gone dark. Ace, I just have this message here that says we're supposed to return to the Jedi Temple. Something's wrong. Something's going on, but I can't place my finger on it. I suppose we'll have to find passage back to Coruscant.
General Volva,
Did you bring a shuttle or just your...
Our mission must have been to retrieve you, bring you back to Coruscant. This makes perfect sense. Most of our T-95s can seat another passenger in a pinch. Snakes will be happy to pull up his seat. We'll bring you back home to Coruscant. Mission accomplished.
It seems peculiar to have a number associated with the Order and all the secrecy for just a return to Coruscant, but I suppose it's the best lead we have so far.
Suspicious as it were, most missions have reasons for being, under the table.
Can I do a leadership check? Is that
For what?
A suspicion check? A check to know whether something is good or bad?
A vigilance check?
Let's see.
Maybe perception? Probably perception.
My vigilance is not terrible.
So, what do you want to spot? What are you looking for?
I want to spot a irregularity in the delivery of this message. As a person that basically gets 200 messages a day about important stuff for the past 5 years. And I'm also going to ask for a boost for that.
Okay. You're going to ask for a boost on it.
I will do perception or vigilance, but my perception's a little bit better.
I think it would be perception. It's going to be perception. It's going to be average.
I'm going to argue for a boost for reasons I said.
Okay. 2 successes and 1 advantage.
So Ace hears this message and conversation that General Vol is having and thinks something's wrong.
Yeah, so the message is basically saying that the war is over and all Jedi should return to the temple.
General Vol, I've been out there. I've been fighting day in and day out. The war's not over. There's something going on here. Order 66, I don't know what that is. I don't know why they want you back, but calling all of the Jedi back is not gonna end the war. It's just gonna make things worse. What do we do when we don't know who to trust? I mean, can we trust this message? Is it just the message that we can't trust?
You have some good insight, Ace. I too feel something is amiss. There's more information to be had that we have to seek out. It seems odd, but I don't think we're going to discover any more from here. With the Jedi Temple maybe where it is, but we don't have to leave right away. We would still benefit from the things that I'm searching for out in the rainforest. Perhaps we should rendezvous with your squadron and we can take a look and then return to the temple as requested after we've exhausted the options here. Too many questions and not enough time, I say.
I want to flip a point.
Okay.
I want to say that because I'm flipping that, Ace has knowledge or is now realizing knowledge based on maybe his chip removal, that he has seen some treatment of the clones that is a little bit, that he is now understanding as unethical to clones. And he's seen some horror to this war across the galaxy. And I just wanted to flip that for Ace to say to General Vol, General, I just want to caution you. I've seen what they've done to the clones. I've seen them sacrifice garrisons of clones to complete a goal. These messages make me nervous. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, I trust my group. I trust Nexus Squadron. I trust Snakes, but just be wary. I know you're familiar with the Force. I trust in the Force. I trust in the Jedi. Just be wary.
I will, Ace. I have to admit, there is something going on with the Force. I've felt it. I've experienced it. It's different now. Altered. I don't understand the secrecy that we have with this message. It's odd and peculiar, but I can say that here in this town we're not going to find much more. I am still on the search for these artifacts. War or no war, I think they're still important. I think I'll ask you all for the favor of helping me find them. There are a rumor of creatures out in the forest that can swallow ships whole, so it's foolish to go alone. But with you here, perhaps we can find what I'm looking for, and maybe in time the message will become clearer, and we can find the answers we seek.
You hear the rumble of engines overhead that Ace recognizes as 6 Z95s.
Ah, that must be your squadron. Let's go touch base with them.
Roger.
And Vol gets up and strides out the front door into the rain.
So as Lee heads out into the rain, he sees the landing lights of these ships as they come down on the edge of town, making his way to that clearing. As he gets there, there are clones coming out of all these ships. They're grabbing supplies from behind their seats. A couple of them have already put ponchos on, and they all salute you. General, General,
General?
General, General.
It's good to see you.
And you, what is our mission? Have you seen Ace?
Yes, Ace is just behind me. He was filling me in. We have some confusion on this matter. I was not briefed on this mission that you're here for. Ace hasn't heard of it either. Have either of you heard of Order 66?
As you say that, they sort of straighten up. That Ace recognizes as Rough Up and Rampage, and they reach for their blasters. I think the way to do this would then be for you to be able to choose cool or vigilance. That's your
vigilance.
Jedi-ness.
Okay. Is this a difficulty to recognize, or am I rolling initiative?
That'd be initiative.
So we got 2 successes and an advantage.
These clones got nothing.
Do I get to roll?
Yep, you'd be
Please?
vigilance.
Please help me, Ace.
There is only hope. Wow. Okay. Well, the clones all raise their blasters towards Jedi Knight Lee Vol. Lee and Ace seem to watch it in slow motion, knowing what is going to happen next.
Lee sees, since he sees through the Force, and he sees the Force move through the clones, was it all that have landed? Or Rampage and...
Rampage, Rough Up, and Knuckles were the 3 closest to you.
Okay.
The other ones were still getting stuff out of their ships, but they may be within hearing range.
Okay. So Lee sees this movement in the Force, this color sense change within these 3 clones in front of him, sees the blasters raising, and instinctively understands the danger he is now in inexplicably. It's confusing and alarming just as before, but he pulls his lightsaber off the belt and ignites it and reaches a hand out to the closest, and I would like to bind one of the troopers.
Okay. I've never played with somebody who has had bind before.
I've never played with bind before.
How far along the tree are you?
I was just going to pull the main powers for those
Okay.
instead of spending a ridiculous amount of XP, but it felt right since Lee is more or less obsessed with the idea of peace. It's about stopping violence as opposed to participating in it as little as possible. He's a very defensive person. All right, so bind, basic power. The user may spend a force point to immobilize a target within short range until the end of the user's next turn.
Okay.
If the user used any dark side to generate, the target also suffers 1 wound, ignoring soak, per force pips used.
Great. So you are rolling your force rating.
Yeah, we've got a force rating of 2.
2 light, 1 dark. So you only need 1 light to activate?
1 light to activate. I may not activate it multiple times.
Does it say what it does to a minion group?
To a target within short range. Would the minion group be the target?
A target, yep.
Yeah.
All right, so what does that look like?
So confusion and harm are the feelings that wash through Lee as these 3 troopers draw their blasters. And as he deftly pulls his lightsaber and ignites it from his belt, he reaches a hand out towards the 3 troopers and uses the Force to constrict their arm movements to keep the blasters pointed more or less down at the ground to keep them from moving forward. And I believe begins asking questions. What are you doing? Stand down, troopers.
They struggle against you, but do not gain any headway and say, "Following orders, traitor," attempting to raise their blasters, but unable to.
How many troopers did that affect?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of them.
Rough Up, Rampage, and Knuckles.
Wow, that's awesome.
Lee goes into high alert and is looking all over to see where their danger is coming from. He's checking Ace. He's checking the other group. He's staying alert.
Ace?
I think as soon as they lift their blasters, Ace lifts his blaster, points it at his comrades, and says, "Troopers, what are you doing? This is treason against the Republic. How dare you lift your blasters against General Vol? What's the meaning of this?"
Jedi are traitors!
Traitors? This is your general. This is General Vol. What are you talking about?
As they struggle against the force holding them, one of them says, "Good soldiers follow orders."
Good soldiers follow. You follow orders from me, and you follow orders from the Jedi. What are you talking about? What's gotten into you boys? I'm gonna do a leadership check, which is gonna be
Clone
an
inhibitorship.
impossible check.
So long as the proper chain of command is observed, upgrade the ability of leadership checks targeting a clone trooper once. So, that's upgrading the ability of your leadership. I'm also going to upgrade the difficulty of your leadership. So, Ace's leadership is what? 2 yellows?
Yes.
Actually, I'm not going to upgrade because we're going to go against their discipline, which is 2 reds and 1 purple.
2 reds and 1 purple, but I get an
It
extra
pretty
green.
much balances out. 2 reds and a purple against 2 yellows and a green.
Do I get a boost because they respect my authority, or used to?
You don't. These guys are new. This is
they're
the new half of the squadron. Snakes is the only person that you've actually served with before today.
Do I get a boost because clones respect all authority?
I think that is your upgrade. I think that's the inhibitor chip upgrade.
So do I get a boost?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So as you begin yelling at these clones, Stashy and Hasty raise their blasters towards you.
I dare you raise your blaster to me. I could have you court-martialed for that.
Rough Up, Rampage, and Knuckles struggle against Lee's hold on them, unable to make any headway. And Stashy and Hasty open fire on Ace. Thanks for listening to this episode of Coruscant Nights. Coruscant Nights is a production of Nightcast Creative. To find out more about us and our projects, visit nightcastcreative.com. Thanks to Andrew and Doug for playing on this episode. You can find more of Doug playing Ace on Andrew's podcast, Dicey Cantina. Check out Dicey Cantina wherever you get your podcasts. Have you joined our Discord yet? Come hang out with other fans of Coruscant Nights in the other place and talk about the shows, your favorite RPGs, and other games. We've got monthly live-streamed games, shows like Behind the Mask with Sarah Joy, which you can also find on our YouTube, and board game nights. Check the show notes for a link. And last but not least, don't forget about Donate for Destiny. We've still got a few sessions to record before the end of Season 2. Your dollars can influence Coruscant Nights' Destiny pool and help kids in hospitals and shelters.